This is the ASICS Superblast 2, one of the most hyped shoes of 2024. But does it hold up in 2025? Let's find out. All right, so let's go through a quick breakdown of the shoe. So the heel of the shoe is about 45 millimeters, which is a super high stack for a shoe. Normally I do love a higher stack shoe, but for me, 45 millimeters could be a little too much. I've noticed shoes in the mid 45s can feel a little bit clunky. I'm not saying the shoe feels massive on your feet, but it's not one of those shoes that you forget that you're wearing. You'll notice it the entire time. You'll feel the pros of it, but you will feel the cons of that clunkiness. Moving on to the forefoot of the shoe, you have 37 millimeters of stack height, which I do like that. I like when shoes have a high stack in the front of a shoe. The reason for that is because I do run more on my midfoot and sometimes even my forefoot. So when that's where I'm putting the majority of the pressure, it feels good. It feels very poppy when I have a higher stack at the front of the shoe. Now you might ask what kind of foam ASICS is using in this shoe, and that is FF Turbo Plus. It is the same foam that they use in the Sky Paris and the Edge Paris, which I've never ran the Edge, but I've owned 2 pairs of the Sky Paris, and it is my favorite race day shoe. So when I found out they were using the same foam in the Superblast 2, I had to buy the shoe. Now it's the same foam, but it does feel a little bit different. Maybe that's because there isn't a carbon plate, but the shoe doesn't feel as poppy as the Sky Paris. It still runs really well, but it's more of a marathon pace shoe or a slightly faster than easy pace shoe. So if you were looking for a shoe that you could do all your workouts in, I personally wouldn't recommend this shoe. I would go more towards the Evo SL. But if you're looking for a shoe that you can take on your easy days or in your long runs and mix in your marathon pace within your long run, you're probably not going to find a better shoe. It feels amazing at that marathon pace. So if I had to rate the foam in this shoe, I would give it 7 out of 10. If I'm honest, I thought I would have rated it higher before I bought the shoe. I thought this was going to be more of a 9 or a 10 out of 10, but I just think the shoe's too clunky, and I wish there was more of a variety of paces that I could run in this shoe. Now let's move on to the traction of the shoe. In other past ASICS shoes, my biggest complaint was the traction. They would have trouble running on a wet surface. There would be a lot of slipping while you're running. And after running 100 to 120 miles in this shoe, I have found 0 problems with traction. And that's running on dirt paths, on different wet surfaces, and that's even running in the snow. This shoe has a lot of traction, a lot of grip. It's one of those shoes that maybe is even a little bit noisy because it's gripping the ground so much. So rating the outsole, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And now there's only one thing left to rate this shoe on, and that is the upper. When I first felt the outside of the upper, I thought this shoe was gonna be a little bit rough on my feet. It doesn't feel like it would be a comfy material, but that assumption was completely wrong. I had 0 complaints on this. It is a very breathable upper, maybe even too much when it's in the winter. When running in the shoe in 20-degree weather, my toes felt like they would freeze. It actually got so bad that I wouldn't wear this shoe if it was too cold because it was so breathable. So in the summer, I think this is gonna be one of my favorite shoes to run in because how breathable and also how comfy it is. I don't think I've gotten even 1 blister when running in this shoe. After saying all that, I would give the upper of this shoe a 9 out of 10. So if my math is correct, the average of my score for the overall quality of this shoe is a 8.3 out of 10. It really is an amazing shoe. I personally just don't know if it's worth the price for the majority of runners I know. If you already have a collection of shoes and you're okay with spending a little bit of extra money, then this would be a great shoe to have. But if you only have 1 or 2 shoes in your rotation, I personally wouldn't recommend this shoe. I would go more towards a Evo SL, or even just buy a Nimbus, whether it's 25, 26, or 27. Those shoes can do everything this shoe can do, just a little bit slower. But like I said, if you want an amazing long run shoe, you're probably not gonna find anything better than this. And if you do know of something that's better for a long run, I would love to hear about it. I'm actually looking into what should be my next shoe to test. So if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them. All right, peace.